Hello, and welcome to the Stratasys webinar, How to Turn Design Inspiration into Reality. Today, we are going to talk through some of the typical steps in your design process and the friction points along the way from first sketch to optimal state of stakeholder approval. We will then share with you what is possible by adding full-color multi-material 3D printing to your toolset. Next, we will spin through what this could look like in your own workspace. And finally, for those who are interested, you know who you are, we will share with you the technical details. Bringing design ideas to life is a complex and multi-stage and phase process. It includes ideation and iteration and even lots of fits and starts. As you or your designer or design engineer put pencil to paper and begin to generate initial ideas and refine concepts, how one moves from sketch to render is a very personal process. But that process is all about layering in details, layering those details into the design process. But the question remains, where to from render? For some, render is reality, and they follow this 3D approach through the full design process, leaving form, fit, feel, and function to chance. Others find comfort in a Frankenstein model, getting their next iteration together with materials from their shop or components from existing products. And still others make great effort with physical models made by hand, like foam models, carving them, shaping them. It's an art form. But what if there was a better way to fill the gap between render and reality, to make that leap? What if 3D printing could solve design challenges? The leap from render to 3D model is dependent on your design process and stakeholder or client needs. But imagine if you could simplify and customize your design cycle and bring designs to life with 3D printing. For instance, consider concept modeling. Imagine if you could go from your initial CAD design to a simple shape or to multiple simple shapes to make decisions before moving on to the detailed design stage. Imagine if you could do that in a less expensive single material and lock in on your needs before you move to detailed design. Speaking of detailed design, we all know that this is the make or break part of the design process. This is where most decisions are made and most projects can go off schedule, off scope, or even worse, off budget. Imagine if 3D printing aided in the decision-making on look, feel, and part components, leading to a quick turnaround on iterations and even quicker approval. Moving through the design process, imagine being able to show the look and feel of materials, to test texture, color, function, and really work through the CMS modeling process with a full printed 3D model. Imagine not having to hand paint or post-process. Imagine what's possible with 3D printing. Concept models, detailed design, CMS, high fidelity. Imagine the endless possibility if you could use 3D printing to spin these models to life. Designers have always told us, we're always working towards that golden model. That's that model that'll get stakeholder approval. But getting to that model is not without its challenges. Some of the most common problems going from inspiration to reality are communication, cost, and confidentiality. Communication breakdown or failures often impact both the design and product quality, as well as the product's time to market. Using a 2D render on paper or a screenshot to convey an idea doesn't really communicate the full scope of design intent and requires a bit of an unrealistic imagination leap. This makes it difficult for a client or stakeholder to really buy into your project. One of the greatest costs to a company is inefficiency. And when you are relying on human input and interaction, the design cycle can be majorly impacted. If If the design cycle is inefficient, it costs both time and money, and being late to market is the ultimate cost. Now, we know you're waiting for us to say that 3D printers solve this problem. But the reality is, many high-quality 3D printers are bulky, unaffordable, and require experienced operators. And the low-quality or desktop single-material printers are, well, not quite worth all the tinker time it takes to keep them running. Space in a small office is at a premium, and you can't afford to designate an exclusive room, space, or a full-time headcount just to your 3D printer. And that leads to the biggest fee of all, confidentiality. Sure, you can get what you need by outsourcing to an external model shop or service bureau, but this is expensive and it risks confidentiality and intellectual property. Potentially sending your design work out presents an IP risk that your design will get to market faster, grabbing a majority of the market share by someone else, and ultimately lowering your product's value. What if? What if you could create a better finished product that is tangible, a prototype that can be seen, felt, held? What if you could increase the amount of design iterations and improve your design quality, providing realistic models easier, providing realistic models sooner, and being able to elicit an emotional attachment from the client to your design idea? Imagine if you could cut modeling time, explore colors and textures earlier, integrate form and CMS, and ultimately save on modeling costs instead of doing it by hand or sending it out. Imagine if you could invest in a 3D printer that had a small footprint, that was quiet and non-toxic, that didn't need its own designated shop, room, area. A printer that can be in the same spot as your office paper printer. Plus, a reliable and capable printer, more capable than a single material desktop printer. And imagine if you could keep production internal. So design ideas and prototypes stay protected in-house. Remember, the consequence of losing exclusivity on a groundbreaking piece of intellectual property is priceless. At Stratasys, we've spun to life a tool for design realism, made it office-friendly and affordable. Introducing the J55 3D printer. The J55 is a huge leap forward for accessible, full-color 3D printing. It allows designers to have multiple iterations of a prototype ready and available in a matter of hours, without the need for a shop operator or external service bureau. Let's see what's possible in 3D printed realism. Design realism means putting quality design output in your hands. With an astonishing amount of color, nearly 500,000 color combinations to choose from, as well as 1,900 Pantone validated printable colors, texture mapping and gradients, your parts will have the look, the feel, the function, and the geometric accuracy that you need to bring your best quality ideas to life. This means color fidelity, texture realism, and the ability to simulate surfaces like glass, wood, leather, stitches, saturated color, PC appearance, matte surfaces, and much more. And not only possible, but accessible in your classroom, studio, office, where you work. In addition, the J55 integrates well with the design and render software you use most. Things like SolidWorks and KeyShot, supporting 3MS file format and being able to directly import those files into Stratasys print software, GrabCAD Print.
And now possible in your office. The J55 can sit virtually anywhere in your studio, classroom, or office space. It truly has a small footprint. But a small footprint does not mean tiny prints. The footprint to print size ratio is an amazing 1,174 centimeters squared. Imagine what you could bring to life. But size isn't the only thing that matters. Equipment noise and smells can also be disruptive to designers' workflows. And keeping tools in the shop and not in the hands of who needs them is also problematic. So if you can believe it, the J55 operates nearly silently due to the fact that the build tray spins and the head stays static. And there's no smell. It's odor-free thanks to the special Pro Aero air extractor system and the ability to capture and filter out any types of odors. The J55 is truly created for where you work and how you work.
So why waste time and risk your designs by sending things out when you can bring powerful possibilities in-house? Is cost on your mind? Let's compare outsourcing versus insourcing for a moment. Let's look at an example. If we compare two versions of these detailed design prototypes of an earbud case, we will see that it's possible to save 97.4% in time and 79% in cost. That's amazing. That's an amazing $84 and 5 hours of print time versus $405 and 8 days by sending it out to CNC modeling. Hours versus days, dollars versus hundreds of dollars. The J55 is not the first full-color, high-quality 3D printer designed for designers, but it is the first designed for your office. If you've heard about the Stratasys quality in multi-material 3D printing, and you wonder how the J55 compares in not just size, but cost and quality, well, take a look at this. The J55 runs the same quality prints as the Stratasys J8 series, our enterprise printer line. It doesn't have flexible materials or digital ABS, but it does run about half the cost of our shop solutions. Let's spend a few moments talking about the technical details around how the J55 works. Have we mentioned the quality of prints on the J55 yet? There's a reason for this quality. It's tied to the way that the J55 prints. By taking motion out of the print head, material is consistently jetted and results in an outstanding print quality. The rotating build tray creates for shorter, radial 3D printing paths for faster prints and, again, better quality. Combine the limited head movement and the constant speed of the rotating tray with a transition zone, and the results are quality. As you can see from these smart speaker prototypes printed on the J55 with no painting or post-processing of any type, design realism once impossible is now possible, perhaps spun to life. To add on, the J55 is a standalone, fully functional printer with no external client required. It has an easy-to-navigate user interface that is state-of-the-art and touchscreen, and has built-in end-to-end maintenance wizards. It's super reliable, too. The J55 achieves high reliability and low maintainability with its new UV LED Smart UV illumination sequence. It has zero calibration required and is energy efficient. The LED light lasts longer and provides optimal print viewing with minimal UV admittance. Which, come on, that means you can stare at your designs as they spin to life. Let's see it in action. Want to learn more or get your hands on some sample parts? Visit stratasys.com/3dprinters/J55 or reach out to your local retailer and start to imagine what you could do with Stratasys 3D printing. Thank you for joining us.